Sounds so good, don't you agree? You're listening to C Flips, He Flips. I'm Curtis R. Monday. Hey, EJ, how you doing? Give us a call at 312-374-8130. That's 312-374-8130. EJ, where can individuals find you?
You can call me, 773-340-9101. Shoot me an email at Esther, E-S-T-H-E-R, at ultimaterealestategroup.com. I'm on social media, Instagram at ultimate_EJ, also at Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint, and you can find me on Facebook, Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint as well.
Absolutely. For all your real estate and business strategic coaching sessions, go to my website, www.curtisrmonday.com. That's www.curtisrmonday.com for your insurance and financial services need. Looking to protect your assets, get your financial plan in place. Call my office at 708-647-1005. The show is called C Flips, He Flips. EJ and I got three primary purposes. One, to create an inspirational blueprint for those interested in real estate investing. Two, to create generational wealth within our communities. And three, to be a source of education, to be able to provide resources to the individuals that follow us and support us. And so we appreciate you. Today's topics, EJ and I are going to discuss the five traits to ditch right now in order to become a successful real estate investor. And then also we'll touch on the number one wealth building strategy that literally everyone needs to be using. So keep it locked here on the only show that matters, C Flips, He Flips, 312-374-8130. EJ, how the hell are you doing today?
He just made me mad before we went on air, so he's trying to get back in my good graces.
EJ, don't be like that. Don't be like that, EJ.
We have some varying opinions about, should I say it?
Kills.
Yeah, about this whole R. Kelly debacle. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that on air. But anyway, I am doing well. Had a great first week back in the saddle. It's been real.
Okay.
It's been real.
Yeah.
So had some closings this week. Had a first-time home buyer, a young lady that I've known for a while. So we overcame some obstacles. We were supposed to close last month, but we got it done.
Yeah.
I launched our latest training opportunity, put that out to the masses.
How's that going?
It's going well. The first day, quite a few people hopped on. We're trying to limit this particular opportunity to about 15 to 20 people. So a little bit about it is we have a huge greystone over in the Woodline area that will be a pretty massive renovation. So what we're doing is opening up our flip basically and using it as a classroom for people who truly want to see the intricacies of a massive renovation from beginning to end. So it's going to be about a 6-month renovation. Again, this project is huge. And so you'll get a chance to see it from demo to completion and come on site about 4 to 6 hours a week so you can be completely immersed in all of what it takes to see it come to life.
When EJ and I was talking about that idea that she has in terms of what she's doing with the coach, and I thought it was a phenomenal opportunity for anyone that's interested in real estate investing to get a nice look as to what's what. I thought about if I could duplicate that, and I can't. You have to look. My stuff will have to be meet me at 4 o'clock in the morning, starting at the gym in front of my house. And we had to go to the insurance agency. We had to go to the hood, get rent. It's a lot of different nuances that go on with me. So we had to get chance, got to feed. I got a whole thing going on with trying to feed this kid right now. But EJ, phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah.
My week in real estate has been about dealing a lot with two major things. I'm pretty sure you can relate to these two. One with repair estimators and budgets. Mm-hmm. For those who may not understand what a repair estimator is, EJ, tell us, how do you use repair estimators in real estate?
You mean like an actual program or
people?
Yeah,
well, like if you actually, in my verbiage, a repair estimator is when I walk a piece of property, right? So I got a property I'm looking at. I'm trying to get an idea of what the cost would be given that scope of work. And so some of the challenges, though, especially when you look at the speed of how the real estate investment market goes, EJ's a realtor, so this is how it really works. She sends me a property. She puts me on the MLS. Well, she said, Kurt, go look at this property. I go look at the property, and I walk the property, right? And I have a tool I use to help me figure out what the repair cost would be with this particular property. The challenge, though, is that I'm not a contractor. Yeah, the tool can help you, and you have seen it enough times that you can possibly be able to get a good ballpark, but you never really know. In a perfect world, you got your team out there. You get on the phone like on TV. You call Joe the contractor, and Joe has nothing else to do. He's going to be there, right? And so he meets you at the property and tells you, hey, right? But in reality, that's not kind of how it goes. So I got this property EJ sends me because he's a realtor. I look at it. I do my quick, estimator in respect to what I think the costs are. I go back and analyze the deal, and then I make an offer based upon what I think the repair costs are.
Right.
But when you're working with the construction draw company, that can come back to bite you in the butt if your budget isn't accurate. And that's one of the things I'm experiencing now. And it's not uncommon with the project. A lot of times you get into a project and what you think is going to cost doesn't cost that. Costs a lot more. You open up a wall like, oh my God, I got some things going on, or you just lowball it for whatever reason. And so right now, we got a situation like that right now with this particular project. We probably will come in a little bit over budget. Which is fine. I got contingency set up to be able to handle it. But, I want to use other people's money. So I'm a little PO'd by that. But nevertheless, it's a teachable moment. And I don't know a real way, EJ, outside. Well, I got some ideas. I want to pick your brain. But outside of having your crew there when you actually vet a project, how are you able to look at a project, come up with a good repair, a good first guess in terms of the repair costs, in enough time that you enter an offer that makes sense based upon your numbers? How are you able to do it?
Well, I mean, present day, you're talking to somebody who's been doing this for almost 15 years, right? So for someone who's starting out or who may have just had one or two, I would advise to get at least 2 estimates. And you have to go line by line, counting windows. You have to get electrical, plumbing. You have to be sure your line items are correct. And the best way to do that is to compare 2 different estimates for like a GC. If you're going to have one GC that's going to do the entire job, they're going to have to do a line item, for each one of those things. And the best way is to see, well, if one guy is saying it's $8,000 for this and somebody else saying it's $4,000, then you have to figure out where that discrepancy is.
But I'm talking about on the front end.
Right.
You see a project, right, that you want to actually put a contract on, right?
Right.
But you real time have to decide whether or not if the contract makes sense in respect to the numbers. And in that numbers is not only comps and things of that nature, it's also repair costs. So in reality, you don't have the time to call Jack or whoever else and say, look, come on out. So what do you use to make a quick snapshot decision to say, okay, this is what I think?
Well, that's what I'm saying. When I walk a property, or Jason and I walk a property, we can, we're accurate. We're, give or take $5, $10,000, and we can be pretty spot on with that. So if you don't have that skill set because you're starting out, you need to hire somebody. You need to have a coach, a mentor, or someone else who's been doing it for a long time. But keep in mind, you can still submit an offer if you have a good guess that it will fit within your budget parameters of what you feel like you can take on. You still have the contingency after you go under contract. You have 5 days. You can use the attorney modification period to get people over there. I mean, in 5 days, that's a week. You should be able to have somebody to be able to walk the property with you. Even if they're not able to turn around a bid to you, they should be able to walk it and say, hey, this is what I think it's going to be.
Sure.
So you have some time. You just have to use your time correctly.
And we're going to get to that they should part in a minute, because what EJ said in theory makes sense, right? And you got the 5-day attorney review period.
Yeah.
So give you enough time to get your team out there, your contractor, and whether it's your GC or you got subs, get them out there, et cetera. I would say build in a contingency, especially when you're working with the construction draw company who's going to give you the money.
You have to build in that contingency.
Right. And I would say 10% for projects you're pretty conservative or sure about, maybe 15 to 20 for people projects you're not quite sure about what the different thing. And I'm saying this because what happens is that if you don't get the upfront number correct, when you do get to the point with the construction draw company, they're going to make you live by the budget that you submitted, right?
Yeah.
If you put in $125K and you put in $10,000 for windows, they're expecting that your number be $10,000 for windows.
Right.
And when you come back in reality, it's 15. Now you got to get into the shell game, reallocate money and things of that nature, and it can become a nightmare.
Right.
Here's another little trick, too. Even though they won't advance you more money, when you close, before you submit your construction draw request, firm up your actual numbers with your GC, meaning that the budget that you submitted before you close could possibly change after you close if you hadn't had your GCs in there to actually look at it. So before you actually submit your first withdrawal request, firm those numbers up, because it makes it a lot easier when you're asking them for money. But EJ, you said something that struck a chord with me. You said that you should be able to get your contract people, your contractors out to look at the property within 5. And we can rewind the tape. EJ said in 5 days we can get the.
You better. You should have shored up a contractor that will be committed to you and your projects and know your timeline, and be able to get you some rough estimates. They're not going to turn around a full estimate. They're just not going to do it. I have yet to meet one that comes out, gives an estimate, and 48 hours later you have a full scope of work and estimate for them. They can give you a top level to high level number, but no, they're not doing it. Paperwork is the thing that they hate the most in their business.
I saw a documentary once on HBO.
You are so deep today.
I saw a documentary on HBO that it was talking about the.
See, that's why we shouldn't argue before we go on air, because you just get too deep.
Let me finish. I saw a documentary on HBO. It talked about pimps. It talked about the pimp gang, right? I'm not glorifying in the profession, right? It's the oldest profession in the world, but I'm not glorifying it. But he talked about how they didn't allow their workers to talk to their colleagues that was in the same industry.
Yeah.
That's how having a good GC is, right? Like if you got a GC that you know reliable, you don't want him to talk to like nobody else. Like you because it takes away.
Yeah, I'm really stingy with our main crew. He's like, hey, yeah, I saw such and such on your project. No, he's busy right now.
He's busy right now.
He's tied up.
When you got a good GC, you don't let your GC talk to nobody, man. But look, these GCs are making me mad right now because they don't. You can't get proposals back when they're supposed to.
You have to manage your expectations around that. If you know that's what it is, that means that you need to shore up your game as far as being able to do some of those things yourself.
Well, you know, from conversations, I've never prescribed to a general contractor, right? Mm-hmm. And we talk back and forth about this. EJ uses a general contractor who manages all the aspects of the job, right? You don't? Mm-mm. What do you do?
No, so Jason and I, we GC a lot of our projects. We have someone who's mainly responsible that's like the go-to. But we sub out a lot of things because over time we figured out we save a lot more money being able to do that. But I don't recommend that to anybody who's new.
Right.
Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know the process of renovating just yet and when things should go. And then you have to manage personalities.
Sure.
Because some guys don't like to be on the job. Like your electrician don't want to be there with a plumber that's not, somebody affiliated with them. So you have to know how to do all these different nuances. So
now, see, I use subs also. I don't have a problem with timelines with my subs because it's a 10-year relationship there. Yep. So for the mechanicals, the HVAC, the plumbing, electrician, those relationships are 10 years plus. I don't have a problem with them. When I call, they're out there, boom. Mm-hmm. It's the carpentry portion that eludes me. Right. And so when I express my frustration about contractors, it is not the subs who I have 10 plus years worth of relationship with, because to your point, they're handy. They're come in right when I tell them to. And after working with them, I can almost kind of guesstimate what a bathroom is going to cost with them, what a kitchen. We've been through a couple of projects together. So I got that. It's the carpentry people, the new guys. Right. Yeah. And you don't really know until you really do some deals with them.
Right.
And what's frustrating right now, they don't keep appointments. They're late. And you know how I feel about being late, EJ.
Yes.
They're late. They don't send the estimates. And I had this long debate with somebody the other day, a contractor. No, I didn't actually debate. He did all the debating. I'm on some new stuff for 2020, so I just removed myself tactfully from the conversation. But, yeah, contractors are
yeah, they can be tough to deal with. And that's a skill set to learn how to manage them.
Sure.
That's the whole class in itself, how to manage contractors.
Sure.
And being a female in this business, it took me a while to grasp what their issue was early on. Because sometimes, in different cultures, they don't like taking instruction from women.
Yeah.
So I've had to help other female investors, teach them how to get what you want. And, still be flexible.
That's because y'all rude to him.
We are not rude.
Y'all are rude to him.
Really,
look,
Curtis?
Rude. Yeah.
I am not rude.
EJ, look.
Rude.
Facebook. EJ charged me full price for everything. Like, look, EJ is a beast when it comes to like the negotiating and contract. EJ, don't let the beautiful hair and all that stuff fool. You probably be bossing the people around EJ like go there.
You a play.
Go there, go do this, do that. No, I said I don't want it like that, dude. Like, yeah, you probably boss.
I just don't allow you to
punk you.
No, I'm not going at gunpoint.
That's all good. Let's keep it rolling. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the 5 traits to ditch right now to become a successful investor. You listen to Curtis R. Monday.
I'm EJ Williams.
And this is C-Flips, He-Flips. Curtis R. Monday.
Good morning. I'm EJ Williams.
Call us in the studio at 312-374-8130. That's 312-374-8130. Or you can reach EJ where?
You can find me on Instagram, ultimate_EJ. You can check out our training and education platform, which is Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint, which is also on Facebook as well. You can reach out by phone at 773-340-9101. And you can shoot me an email at ej@buildingherlegacy.com. If you're looking for training, we have rolled out a training this week where you can come on board and watch us flip this huge greystone over in the Woodline area. It's going to be 6 months of training, about 50 hours. And we start next week with demo. So check out. The information is on all of those pages. You can see it in the bios and on the Facebook page, Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint.
Saying good morning to Miss Sharon Perry. Says, what's up? It's been a minute. Happy to see you still moving and shaking and making things happen. I appreciate you, Sharon, for that. You can reach me if you're interested in real estate and business coaching. Go to my website, www.curtisrmonday.com, for all your insurance and financial services needs. To get your financial house in order, call me at 708-647-1005 to schedule your free insurance and financial review to get the ball rolling. This next segment, the 5 traits to ditch right now to become a successful investor. EJ, everyone has their own unique experience in real estate, investing, and building a portfolio of properties. And some of us will develop a portfolio that's thriving in the local market, and while others may never get in the game or finish their first project. But the most salient point is that we're all in charge of our own success and failures, but many times we sabotage our own businesses. So we're going to dive into these 5 traits. These 5 traits we want you to ditch right now in order to become successful as a real estate investor. Trait number 1, being defensive. What you think about that?
Defensiveness.
Yeah, defensiveness.
You can't be too defensive in this business because you work with too many people. There's so many moving parts. So you have to be open to not only other people's shortcomings and not take it as a personal attack or sabotage to you, because you have your own as well. So you have to be a little bit more flexible. It's
a natural reaction that to react a certain way when you have like small slights or confusion or being rejected. But when you become too defensive, it can alienate relationships. Right. And it can create a barrier to proper communication. But like for real, and I think I'm guilty of this too, that if left unchecked, if you don't really monitor your habit of being defensive to everything, you'll cut people out.
You really will.
Like you'll cut people off and takes. Listen, if I was defensive, me and EJ wouldn't even do C-flips. Let's not forget, look, I reached out to EJ. Like, this is a true story. I was on IG. God. I saw her doing little videos and stuff. I said, man, it look great. I got things I want to do. Let me reach out to EJ. She knows what she's doing. True. I slid in her DM.
He did.
And she never hit your boy back.
He didn't.
Didn't hit me back.
I didn't. That's so true. I'm sorry. He has been making me apologize for this for about a year and a half.
That's right. Never would I look, as we ascend to new heights, let it never be forgotten.
Well, see, this is what it is. And I try to keep up with people who slide in my DMs for business, And to be honest, I get reached out by a ton of lenders and insurance agents. And once you have your key people in place, Like, okay, I have my lenders, I have my home inspectors, I have my insurance people. So it's like I don't need any more coffee dates for somebody to. I'm just being honest.
You got
to roll out, their services and try to win my business over. So I assumed that that's all that you wanted. So I read it, but sometimes I read it on the fly and then I'm gone on to the next thing. So it's not always intentional that I'm ignoring.
You hear this? So EJ watches basketball, right?
I do.
Right? So you had your insurance agent, right?
Yes.
You had Rondo. I'm Jordan. You had Ron. You were rolling with Rondo. I'm the GOAT. I'm Jordan. I've been
Facts.
there for right.
Facts.
I mean, I'm Jordan. Like, so I'm like, what?
But see, to your defense, shout out to Maya Bordeaux.
Maya Buttonsby.
Yes, she connected us. It was the personal connection.
Right.
That I responded.
So the other piece of the story, we both have a mutual friend. EJ was doing a transaction for us, and the friend mentioned it to me. I said, "Oh, I know her. Forget her." She was like, "Yeah, my EJ's helping me with my train." Okay, man, forget her, man. I'm messing with her. Like, why? I said, because I reached out to her and she didn't call. If I was defensive, I wouldn't even been open to my like. No, you guys should connect and talk. I really feel like, and my life has been enriched.
Hey,
ever since then. EJ,
you're welcome.
Hey, life has been great. The birds chirp a little louder, and the sun, because EJ. Number 2, another trait you need to eliminate: being too cynical. Being too cynical. Believing that people only do things for self-serving purposes. Yeah, I can see how that can be a self-sabotaging thing, especially in real estate.
Self-sabotaging.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's a difference between being prudent and diligent about vetting a deal, but it's another thing for oftentimes just kind of thinking like, okay, this person is out to get me.
Right. Well, you have to be careful and you have to do your due diligence, but you can't come into real estate with a level of cynicism and sarcasm. You know, you really have to. It's a trust in business because guess what? I've been doing this a long time, but I still don't know the ins and outs of plumbing and I have very good knowledge on all of this, so I have to trust people.
Sure.
And I can't always come into situations, even when I'm vetting new contractors, thinking that they're trying to take advantage of me.
Oh, that's something different. So you're even talking about being cynical from the perspective you're actually in a particular situation and having to rely on the expertise of this subcontractor, for example.
Right. So you come into these new relationships, you can't come with your guards completely up. You have to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying to just let people take advantage of you, but don't be funny acting. And I've worked with some people that are.
You have to guard against people being cynical, even in your own circle, especially with friends and family.
Oh, sure.
Who might not understand exactly what it is that you're doing, may not be familiar with it, and because of their own fears, because of their own lack of experience, they try to project that on you, right?
Yeah.
And make you think that you're doing something wrong. I can remember when I spent some money for real estate education, and when I spent it, I shared it with my mom, God bless her soul. It's like, boy, you tripping.
Yeah.
Boy, you tripping.
Right.
Even when I opened my insurance agency, my mother didn't want me to do it. I had just finished grad school, got my degree in finance, and told her I was leaving all that to sell insurance. And she thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. But, our parents come from the generation of working traditional 9-to-5s,
Sure. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just their world. And they felt that security and safety is we kind of went through that with a family member that was concerned about us going full time.
Really?
Yeah.
What was their concern?
Well, just that. You could have a 1-year-old and you guys about to lay it all out on the line and take this risk of
was they giving you food for Gabby?
No.
Putting clothes on Gabby back?
No.
Then why the hell you worried?
But that's the thing of people projecting their own fears. And they didn't do it themselves or may not have seen other people become successful entrepreneurs or business owners. And they really ultimately they want the best for you. But you have to be careful about even the people that are closest to you, listening to their advice when it comes to you taking a chance on yourself.
And not saying this is in your situation. Sometimes it's not even, in addition to fear, it's them not taking the steps themselves.
Right.
And low-key not supporting you because you have the oomph or the gumption or the audacity to try it. So it's like, I didn't do it myself, and I'll be damned if this other person do the thing I was thinking about that I didn't do myself. And so, let me quietly sabotage, That's what I tell you, that if you have a dream to do something, it is never a prerequisite for that dream to be fulfilled that someone else has to co-sign or support it or even understand.
Right.
So by all means, go ahead and do it. This third one we can spend a whole show on.
Sure.
Making excuses. The third trait
gosh.
you want to get rid of. Making excuses.
That's one of the biggest things, I think.
Yeah.
From so many different perspectives. People who say, I'm getting ready, I'm working on some things. And they're, at the end of the day, it's just excuses.
Right.
Especially when you've been working on some things for 2, 3, 4 years. It just doesn't take that long to get started.
There's never a perfect time to do everything. Like you can always find. But when I thought about excuses, I wrote down my top 5 common excuses I hear.
Okay.
And I want to know, have you heard anything similar, EJ? Number 1, I need to pray about it first.
Ooh, blaming Jesus.
We are the most praying people. Like, we pray, God, dog, should I get almond milk with the honey tint or the hint of honey or just the plain? Let me pray about it first. Like, and nothing
People
wrong with
use that as an excuse often, and because you can't, then what are you going to say? Oh, don't pray about it, because that's something that you can't necessarily overcome. People using their faith as an excuse.
I have a first-time home buyers right now who are trying to help with the insurance and giving her all the insurance parameters and going to the products and everything. And for 5 days, she's been praying about it. She in the upper room right now. And she in the upper room right now praying on me. And I'm trying to be patient and empathetic because he's a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do you recognize you have a date that you need to get this by?
Contractual obligations.
Now, if you're telling me I need to compare and contrast, that's different. Tell her that. Bring that other proposal to me. Let's talk. That's different. But she just says, no, I need to pray about it. And to my point, she's still in the upper room right now praying about it. Common excuse number 2, EJ.
Yep.
I don't have the money or it costs too much.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because there's so many investors out there that are willing to give you money.
Yeah.
You just have to get out there.
Yeah.
Because the money is not going to fall off the tree for you. You have to get creative. If you don't have the money, then there are some other people. There is some people that that have it.
How many times have we known someone to spend some money on something that doesn't bring any value? It depreciates. It's not worth it, and do it without blinking an eye. Just do it.
$700, $800 car notes, taking vacations. You always see them checking in at some of the most expensive restaurants, but then they don't have money to do something to invest in themselves.
They don't have the money to do the coaching. Oh, that costs too much. Oh, that costs too much. Like that is one of the things that frustrates me as I get older. I don't have the money or it costs too much. 3, I don't have time to do it.
We all have time. It's just a matter of how we use it. That's such an excuse.
I found myself in a conversation with a client one time. Single parent father, 3 kids, goes to work full time 9 to 5. Mothers aren't. The mother is not really prevalent in the kid's life, and so he's doing double working. Taking them to baseball, basketball practice, cooking and cleaning, and has these aspirations of starting his own private contracting company. Says he don't have time. He don't really got time. I like, for real, when I think about him, like, well, damn, you probably really don't. Like, I want to give you the inspiration of, hey, you can do it, climb the mountain. And it's an excuse in most cases, but in this case, I'm like, damn, homie, you really don't have time.
Well, that may not be the case for 100% of people. Yeah, there are some people that are completely swamped and they may not have the resources or the village and people to help them, especially if you have small kids. I get that.
What about this one? I told my idea to my significant other, and they talked me out of it.
Ooh-wee. Trust me, I hear that a lot.
You hear that a lot? I got to imagine you hear that a lot.
I do. Working with couples, ooh-wee.
Do you hear more from the male or the female partner?
Both.
Really?
Yeah, I think I hear it equally because I think it just comes down to a personality trait. Most times one is a little bit more adventurous or has a higher risk tolerance than the other. And the one who is a little bit more adventurous, if they have a record of not completing things or not being successful, but taking too many L's over the years, the
credibility
other one, the credibility gets a little tricky.
How do you? I had the same thing in my business, from my experience. How do you overcome that?
Well, I think it's a function of making sure that both parties, you sit down with both of them and lay out a plan, and you give the one who's a little bit more reserved. I think part of it is making sure that their significant other is not about to do this on their own. They're not winging it, So I think that's part of it.
Sure. I can deal with the scenarios where the couples have talked and they've made a decision that maybe it might not be in their best interest right now for whatever reason. What I can't deal with is for the other party who's not with the idea or with the move. She poo-poo on the idea because he thinks or she thinks that they know more about what it is that we do than us, and no, it ain't good. Why? Because it ain't good. Because I could do X, Y, and
right.
And don't make an informed. I can always
don't make an informed decision.
I can always respect an informed decision, but
right.
when you just kind of throw it out there, I'm like, psh. Last one. That my top excuses. I'm waiting on someone else to do it with me.
You be waiting till the Lord come back.
I'm waiting on my girlfriend, waiting on my guy. We talked about this together.
That's an excuse. It's just a way that you can put off what you truly want to do, but that's fear based.
Sure.
And fear manifests itself in so many different ways. I mean, all of those, most of the things outside of the partner just holding back on you, it has some level of fear to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, fear can stop you from being great. Number 4 thing trait you want to eliminate because it stops you from being a successful real estate investor: being a coward. Not in a coward in the sense of how like fearful or cowardly lion type
right.
thing, but being passive when delivering a tough, unpleasant, or bad news. That's our definition of cowardly. EJ, believe it or not, I'm guilty of this one.
I can be I've gotten a lot better. I think you don't believe me.
Are you kidding me? Really?
You know what it is? Well, I found that I don't like giving people bad news.
Okay.
That's the part. That's what I don't like. So I don't know. I want to call it cowardice. I'm not a coward to give
but
somebody.
just don't like it.
I just don't like it. Especially you present an offer and you're representing a buyer and they don't get the bid and it's a place that they've fallen in love with. I hate picking up the phone to say.
That one bothers you?
Yeah, because especially if it's that's just one example, but that comes up more than, because it's a tough market. And most times you're presenting offers in multiple offer situations. And then your clients already start envisioning hosting families in the house.
I got you. They got an emotional attachment to it.
They have an emotional attachment to it before they've even acquired the property. And they're like, this is the one. And you have to tell them, yeah, no, sorry, you didn't get the house. So that part, I don't like that. And I don't like to be told no. I've gotten better. But I don't like that. And I can remember back to like childhood. If I thought my daddy was going to tell me no for something, I just wouldn't ask.
In what capacity in real estate now, who's telling you no? Like, who's telling the great E.J. Williams no? Like, who are they telling you no? Like, what are they telling you no for?
Well, I mean, no, it's sometimes not getting something that I want.
Like what?
Either a deal the way that I want it.
Your strict negotiation terms.
Yes.
Right. No. Okay. You don't like that. Okay.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like firing people.
I have no problem with that.
And
because you playing with my money. Because if I have to get to the point where I'm about to fire you, I have given you way too many chances. Way too many chances.
I probably have come to the decision that I'm going to fire you probably 3 to 4 weeks before I actually fire you, right? And depending upon how closely tied you are to me, I've gone through several iterations in my mind about this decision. And it's just difficult. I know it's part of it. I got to be a goon. Most times I need to watch a movie, a Scarface or something to get my mind
get
right.
You hyped up.
Yeah, get me hyped up but I found myself practicing the speech. Like I practice. Susan, you've been a great, valuable client here, and you're an employee here at the Curtis Money Insurance Agency, but we're just going to go in a different direction. Like, because I know that this decision a lot of times has a real impact. It'll have an impact. What I try to tell myself is that they're not going through that decision when they quit. They just quit. They don't even show up. They don't even come back. They don't even come back.
Right.
But I really, really have a hard time giving back. In real estate, what else I have a tough time with sometimes is with my contractors. We work on a schedule, and we break the project up in increments, and we have dates, and we come up with an end date depending upon their expertise. If they finish before that date, I give them $100 per day, capped at $500 for a bonus if you finish. But if they finish after the date, right? I charge them $100 per day, up to $500 cap. I have a hard time enforcing my rule.
Because a lot of times they start giving you examples of why it's not their fault.
Well, we had a change order.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have this change order,
right.
and
That's why it's hard to enforce sometimes.
And where it becomes, and I'm saying this because this is a weakness in me that I don't want you guys to have as you get out here. I think the other thing too with that is that, let's say they're a good contractor, and good contractors are hard to find.
Man.
And you don't want to potentially alienate someone over a couple of $100 when potentially by you guys working together, several hundreds of thousands of dollars can be made down the road. So I balance.
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
It's a fine line from them understanding your timeline and respecting it. Because time is money, especially when you're flipping. If you're doing a hard money loan, you got 13 months to get it done.
Get in and get out.
And I have these contractors that they just don't care. And you have to get them to the point where they feel more of a party to the deal as opposed to them just doing the work.
Sure.
That they have a vested interest in keeping the timeline.
Sure.
And we have two different mentee projects that the contractors that they hired, they just took too long. And I think part of it was them taking advantage of the fact that they knew that they were new. But it was learning experiences for both, because the first one, we had to fire them.
Sure.
And I had to give, my mentee the encouragement to let this guy go. And I think he had a little bit of a personal connection to him. Like, look, either you're going to let this man sabotage your timeline, it's going to cost you on the back end, then he's going to put you into a market that is not favorable. We can be putting this out on the market in the summertime as opposed to November, December when the market slows down and the comps are different. I said, so you need to make a decision and you need to make it fast. And I think that's part of it. But to your point, that's one of the biggest things to do is get them to honor their timeline. So I encourage people now when they're making contracts with contractors to put that into the contract, that there's an incentive for finishing early or even on time, but they have to be, I got to dock your coins if you're taking.
Because it hits me.
Right, then my carrying charges, are much more unnecessarily because you just decide you're not going to show up.
And it sets precedence also. Like it sets the tone for, how that relationship will play out from here on out. Mm-hmm. Number 5, and the last one you want to get rid of. You want to get rid of ceasing to learn new things. I mean, if you're not learning, you're not growing.
Right.
You're dying.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's moving. The market is really, in the industry, is always evolving.
Always.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're in different markets all of the time, so you have to implement different strategies. And how are you going to know how to do that if you're not listening to podcasts, going on YouTube, checking out She Flips, He Flips, things like that, hiring a mentor, investing in yourself.
Yeah.
So, and people get stagnant and think that things are just supposed to come to them. You can't rely on 100% everybody else to help do the things that you need to get accomplished. If you want to be successful, you have to learn.
Yeah.
Constantly.
It's good to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you.
Right.
I was telling somebody in the earlier show on UBR that if I find myself consistently around people and the conversations I'm in, I'm finishing someone's sentences,
right.
I already know the end result, then that's a situation that's telling me that I'm not growing. Mm-hmm. And I think I told you this the other day. I was in a conversation where I was really uncomfortable. I said, EJ, I had this conversation. I was really uncomfortable. It was a lot like, the subject matter was something that, and I knew I was in the right place because it was forcing me to grow and tap into other resources and other skill sets that I hadn't quite developed yet.
Right.
So be mindful of who you surround yourself with.
Yep.
Sam Perry says that they agree with the statement about rewarding the contractors when they're on time, and then also and also penalizing them when they don't meet deadlines.
Right.
So that's the top 5 traits you need to get rid of. Here's the number one trait, number one thing, though. The number one thing in respect to wealth building, the number one thing regarding your wealth building strategy that literally everyone should be using. And people understand this concept. You just never thought about it this way. Mm-hmm. Again, easy to understand, but elusive to most. This next concept, this next word impacts everyone's lives. It impacts you at home, at work, through your personal interactions, through your business transactions. But most often, we have this word work against us, and it doesn't always work for us because we don't understand it. But the wealthy understand this, and they create legacies of financial freedoms by this one word, and it's called leverage. Leverage. Now,
teach the people, Curtis.
Well, by definition, the regular definition of leverage, just through the dictionary, when you try to gain an advantage over someone by using a tool, right? That's leverage. You can't move something. You got something you're trying to jar off. You maybe stick something underneath it, a stick or something, and you use the weight and lift it up, and you leverage it. That's using a tool. In business, leveraging is talking about the use of borrowed money to make an investment to earn a positive return on that investment. That's leverage, right? Banks do it all the time.
Right.
Banks do it all the time. A bank will take your deposits, right? Give you little or no interest on it.
Right.
Take your deposits, and then they have vehicle loans, they have mortgages, they have all these other things, and they loan other people money, and they may charge that other person 5% on that vehicle loan or 5% on that mortgage, right? And they're only paying you 0.5% on the money that they put in there, and then that spread is their money. They've just leveraged your money to go make more money. It's really a big Ponzi scheme because you think about it, the bank don't have no money. Like, they're using our money to lend other, anyway. But we do the same thing with investing. And EJ, you hear these people talk about, this conversation, should I buy the property cash or should I go finance? And I've heard people say, well, I'm going to buy cash. Ain't no mortgage, get it over with, that's all done. Cash, leveraging, what camp are you in?
Well, I am a proponent of using other people's money.
Yeah.
When we first got in the game, we were using our cash. I won't say we didn't know any better, but we just thought that was the way to go about, not carrying the debt. But what you find is you have a limit. Most people, the average investor has a limit as far as how far their capital can go.
Yeah.
But if you use that same capital, and keep that as your reserves, you'll find that lenders will give you a lot more money because you are so liquid.
Sure.
And what if something goes wrong with this? You've poured all of your savings, pulled all your money out your 401k to go into this one project. What if something happens and it goes belly up?
If you had
are in a terrible situation.
Absolutely. And you, by going cash, you really leverage, you really limit your ability to get scale in your investments.
Right.
If you had $100,000 and you bought a $100,000 property just cash, then you got that one property.
Right.
But in a lot of ways, you can take that same $100,000 and probably make, in this example, a $15,000 to $25,000 down payment, and get 4 properties, and borrow the remaining $75,000.
Right.
And then you get into this thing called returning your investment and things of that nature. But I think that a lot of our, and we talk about the previous generation, we have this bad misconception about debt and borrowing and what it looks like. Even in church, they preach, don't go in debt. Debt is the enemy. Not all debt is of the enemy. Some debt is bad.
It's good debt.
Right, but there's some good debt that's out there. In respect to real estate, leveraging is important. We'll talk more about leveraging in the future. You know what I'm getting ready to say, EJ?
It's over.
Stick a fork in it. Stick a fork in it.
This time goes by so
Time
fast.
flies when you're having fun, especially EJ when we just talk, when we just rapping, EJ and I just talking. EJ, what do you have on the agenda for the rest of the day? Anything besides eating?
You know what? You're going to stop telling these people how greedy I am. I have put on some weight in these last 2
Lies.
months.
It's the coat you were wearing. It was not you.
I got to slow down.
What you wear, like 109 now?
You know what?
Went from 108 to 109.
You're such a hater.
They don't gain no. EJ one of the people to make you mad. Like, eat everything and gain no weight. All my weight go to that proverbial old man. Like, all here, man. Like, man.
It's going there. I'm getting a little fluffy.
Whatever.
Anyway, so I have showings.
Okay.
I have a property on 89th and Low, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, completely renovated throughout. We listed at $214,900. So if you guys want to check that out, the address is 8948 South Low. Shameless plug for that. I have to get another listing up. One of our mentees is a couple. They flipped their first house.
Hey.
Yes, I had the photographer come out, and we got the pictures back. So that listing is going to go live. It's over in Avalon Park. Another 5 bedroom, 3 bath, brand new 2nd story addition on that. The address is 8111 South Dante. And then Jack and Jill meeting with my daughter. And then we're going to relax this evening.
Cool. I'm going to watch football. Football game, come on.
No surprise.
No surprise. Now I got a hell of a schedule the next month that I'm running nonstop. So these couple of days that I have to kind of just catch my wind are important. So
yeah.
In closing, where can individuals find you, EJ?
Hey, you can give me a call, 773-340-9101 if you want more information about coaching, mentoring, if you're in need of a real estate broker. Again, we just rolled out a new training opportunity, pretty unique, where you can watch us flip this gray stone over the next 6 months. So Basically, our flip will be your classroom. You'll see everything that it takes to get a property from demo to completion. You can find the information on the Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint page on Facebook and on Instagram. And the link is also in my Instagram bio, ultimate_EJ.
To get your financial house in order, call my office, the Curtis R. Monday Insurance Agency at 708-647-1005. That's 1708-647-1005. Visit the Curtis R. Monday website, www.curtisrmonday, to schedule your free I'm sorry, it ain't free.
Lies.
I lied that quick. To schedule your business and strategy coaching session.
But it's worth it.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. It's far underpriced right now, but this I learned all the stuff from EJ, and I teach you at a discount. No, but seriously speaking,
he's leveraging my
right. I'm leveraging the relationship, right? So you can tell EJ and I have so much fun doing this show.
Yep.
So again, reach out, touch. I wanted to see you guys win in 2020.
Absolutely.
Hopefully next week, I think we'll have one of our new preferred referral partners, attorney Kelly Knight.
Kelly Knight of KMR Law Group.
Yeah, and we're building to something big that we're introducing to you guys really, really soon this quarter of this year. So stay tuned. So I'm out of here, EJ.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in.
God bless. Bye-bye.